Okay, in this hand, I pocket nines. This type of recreational player, he's 82 vpip whale. He will limp and call almost any size. So here I go 18, 9 big blinds. So this is my first interaction with him for the day. Normally I'm gonna limit test. So I usually, since I know him like pretty well already, I'm gonna start with 9 big blinds. And if he calls, I'm gonna go like 12. And then if he calls again, I'm gonna go 15. Basically, there's no limit to what you should ISO with. Like if he calls an all in, you just go all in here. So I'm just limit testing. Since it's my first interaction, this is my like first hand. I'm gonna go 9 big blinds, and I'm gonna go bigger from there. Normally, since I know him, um, I might go like usually I go 15 like in other games. However, everyone's mood is different when it's the first interaction of a new day, and I don't want him to hero fold. So it's pretty egregious if you ISO too big with nines and he hero folds. So I went 9 this time to be a little conservative. He calls, of course. So this type of player, like he will limp call like 4-3 off, Jack deuce off. So he has all those type of hands, and my assumptions are that he will not fold. So I'm gonna stack off with this hand. It seems crazy, like seems like crazy punt, but if your assumptions are true about that player, that he's calling a 4 here, he's calling a 5 here, he's calling pocket deuces here, then I think it's pretty standard to stack off with nines. The only problem is like it does get very thin because I said he has 4-3 off, right? So if he has 4-3 off, he has jack deuce off, jack 3 off. So he has a lot of jacks as well. But if he has a lot of jacks, he also has a lot of 5x. He has a lot of 4x. And of course, he has flush draws and stuff like that. And I think this player does have ace queen off, like limp call ace queen off. So he will call those hands as well. So I just pot it, I think. I'm playing 2 streets. He calls, and on the 10 is not great. It gets really thin now because he has ace 10. He has like king 10 and shit, but I still go in with my game plan where he is going to call off pocket deuces. He's going to call off a 4 or 5. So I play for stacks, and he snap calls me jack 8 off. It looks egregious. Like it looks like I'm punting really hard, but I have full confidence that like this is very plus EV against this type of player. Of course, like you have to know what archetype of player you're playing against, and this player is one of the rare archetypes. I wouldn't say that you would encounter these players often, but when you do, I'll be stacking off with nines here. I think it's good. So I think 2 hands later, I have ace king. Um, so I go really big this time, like not even that big, like 13 blinds, 2 limps. Like I said, I was limit testing with 9 blinds earlier, 2 hands ago with pocket nines, and he calls like pretty fast. So it's an indication that it's not big enough. So I'm gonna go 13 blinds this time, and this is probably too small too. Sometimes I might go like 20 blinds here. So this is pretty mild. He calls. And on this board, it sucks because, like I said, right, he has like 6-7 off, 5 deuce off, like 10 deuce off. So this board is pretty bad for me. Um, but I cannot like not stack off as well. This this hand is maybe more debatable. Since I'm not gonna fold in any way, I think the best way to play this hand is check jamming. So I check. He bets big, but the big size, like in general, globally, like from a recreational player, it's not a good sign for you. Like when they bet the big size, um, they're not folding. They have a hand. But in this type of game, I cannot see myself doing anything with ace king. It's almost like I'm checkmated here. Like I have to be all in because he has hands like ace jack off, ace queen off. He has flush draws, and when he has a pair like 5 deuce or whatever, he's gonna call off. But I just have like a ton of equity. He has 7-8 off. He has all flush draws. This one I would say it's pretty close. Maybe I could see myself folding, like, because the big size he has, the equity is pretty close when he has the big size. He has like a um, pair, flush draws, straight draws, and that's pretty close, right? When you have ace king, uh, I could see him having ace queen, ace jack too in the big size, and that's probably like the only range you're like printing against. But it's an action game. Like I can't see myself folding ace king. I just jam, snap suite, king 10 off. Okay, I run it once. So here's my thing I want to quickly talk about. I run it once because the EV, you're never going to change the EV, of course, like run it once or 1,000 times. The EV is the same. But the only thing you can change here is your mental state. So I already lost the stack like 2 hands ago. And my mental state is not really going to change if I lose this pot again. Like I'm getting stacked twice in 2 hands. Like uh, I'm probably going to feel the same either way. But however, if I win this pot, like my mental state will instantly like go through the roof, go back to like a positive state. And I think those are good reasons to go run it once when you're in this position. Also, if you run it twice and you win the top and lose the bottom, like that might even tilt you even more. And at the end of the day, like we're all humans, right? Like mental state is not perfect. We will never achieve like perfect mental state. So if we can think about that and change the outcome of our mental state uh by like running it once or running it twice, I think we should think about these spots. So I win, so that's nice. And then let's go next hand. Queen Jack suited. I open 4 blinds. This is interesting because I think I should talk about this definitely because you should definitely vary your raise size. You should open like you should play limb actually. You should play limb. You should open 2x. You should open 3x. You should open 4x. Uh, to simplify, like the strength of your hand, whatever it is, you open, and you never want them to fold. Like you never want it to uh, make it too big where they fold because any hand you open, like you want them to be in the pot. So let's say if you have aces or whatever, like even if you have a really strong hand, you don't want to go too insane. You just have to make it the biggest size where they will not fold. So that could be like it depends on the mood of the game. Like it's pretty late, so even if you do like 10 blinds, sometimes they will not fold. But with this medium strength hand, I think 8 blinds is nice. And in this game, like if you have top pair, like you're all in, like you're stacking off. And this is a great hand to have top pair in because they have a queen deuce off, jack deuce off. So this is like an amazing hand. This guy flats, and here we're gonna get some value, and the best way to get value on this board is obviously small. I'm gonna disregard like theory like entirely. I'm just gonna think about what he thinks. And if you bet small here, he will call six. He will call like jack 10 and stuff like that. So I just go small. He's gonna call a variety of stuff. So he raises me, which is very interesting. We have to be careful because he's 65 vpip, right? Recreational players, they play every ace X, so they have like ace deuce and stuff. So the ace is very bad for you on most boards. And but I don't think we can fold here when we have backdoor flush draw. We hit a jack, we hit a queen, and he made it really small. It's possible that he has flush draw. This is a very fishy mindset. Like, oh, they could be on a flush draw. You don't want to be trapped in that mindset too often because a lot of times they don't have the flush draw. They have the value instead. But I think for this price, we can call. And if we have a spade, we're going to have like, I think a good amount of equity to maybe call. So I call here. So another thing is like, this could be very advanced, or I could be like going to a rabbit hole. You don't want to be trapped in a situation where you jam here. I used to do this a lot. Like you don't know what to do, and like you're like, oh, maybe they could be bluffing, and you just jam like a retard. You always have to remember, like you can still call. Like it's not the end of the world if you just call. Like you're calling um 8 blinds to win like how much? Like 40 or something, 48. Like it's not the end of the world to call. Like honestly, it's the players that can actually call in these type of spots are like scarier. Like if I call here, like he's probably shitting his pants. Like I look pretty strong. So that's like another principle or phenomenon of poker. Like don't spaz go all in. Like remember you can still call. And here I check, and he does this size, which is very interesting. I think if he went all in, I would have called because from a simple recreational perspective, when they have flush draw here, they just go all in. Why? Because if they do this size, let's say they have a flush draw, they do this size and they break out on the river. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, they have 26 and the pot is 100. Are they gonna check? Are they gonna give up? Are they gonna bluff for 20% pot? The recreational player will never want to be in that position. The recreational player loves simple, like they love simple game trees. If they have a flush draw, they just want to put their entire stack in and not worry about the river. Because if the river, like I said, if the river breaks and he has 25% pot left, he's like stunned. He'll never know what to do. Like, that's why they will never put themselves in that position. So here I'm thinking like I was actually gonna call if he jams, but now when he does this, like I'm way more confident. Like I'm super dead. So I fold here. I think this is a really good play. A really good analysis here on the turn. Let's see what's my next hand. Okay, I have a king jack. So here again, I open four. Like I said, possibly I can open a little bigger, maybe 5 big blinds, 6 big blinds. And this is an amazing hand in an action game because, like I said, they have Jack deuce off, King deuce off. So when you hit top pair, if you have a pair with King Jack, you're like super happy. Like you want to be all in. You want to like somehow get all the stacks in this type of game. So on King 3-3, um, I think the sizing. I think you can just go small here because you don't want to. You want you want to make money from pocket fours, pocket fives through kings. Not saying that they have queens, but I'm just saying like you want pocket fives, sixes, sevens, eights to call, and you want flush draws to call. Yes, you can go big size and like make king deuce off, king four off. They're gonna call anyways, but I want to extract more value from s- stuff that are not a king. And if they have a king anyways, like this guy's so short, this guy's short, like you're gonna get the money anyways. So why not just like uh target more hands? So that's my thought process. I think that's pretty standard, but uh my thought process might not be standard. So that's why I'm talking about it. These two call. This guy calls and they call, and the three is not the best. Like I know I have like high possibility I have the best hand, but like now you just chop versus king. But when it checks to me, I think I'm still gonna bet small. Like I said, the pocket fours, five, six, sevens. They won't even full flush draws to be honest, which is pretty funny. Um, so we bet small again. They both call. Interesting. If they have a three, you just get stacked. Like in this type of game, it's okay. Like I already like at peace with it, you know. On the 10 is great because they can have a 10 sometimes. Pretty crazy. Like they have ace 10, 10x of spades. So 10 is really nice. And when they arrive, this is another phenomenon. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Another like principle of poker. When someone arrives to the river, like with a pair, they usually don't never fold. Like if they have ace 10 of spades and they hit the 10 and you go all in, if they hit the 10 and you go all in, they are unlikely to fold. It's like a mental thing. Like they're drawing, they have a flush draw, they have a straight draw, they're drawing, and then they don't get the draw, but they hit the pair, and then they're still getting blasted into. They will call the pair a lot of the times. It's you have to be really elite. I'm not saying in the spotlight. Let's say like you have ace 10 of spades and it was a really good plus EV call on the turn and you hit the 10 and the guy keeps barreling into you, he jams. Like you have to be a really good elite player to actually fold. Like even if you still hit the pair. A lot of players do not. So especially like extreme bad, extremely bad recreationals, they will never fold the 10 here. Never. So the 10 is like insane. Um, but what sizing do you use? It is insane, but since there's two players, uh, it becomes a little different. Like if I jam, I know it sounds contradictory. I think what I was saying is more applies more to heads up. Like let's say Nico has a 10 here, and I jam, but Banks calls. He might hero fold the 10. Like in that situation, he might hero fold the 10. But that's why like I chose a small size because I know they still have the pocket fives, pocket fours. And if I do this, Banks folds, Nico, he will call pocket fours, pocket fives at a very high frequency. So this size like makes money from a lot more stuff as well. And my assumptions could be wrong. Like maybe if I go all in, he does hero fold like D10. So this size like captures more like not I'm not saying more value, but value at like a lower variance. Like you're getting called more instead of getting called like a small percentage of the time when you go all in. So they fold, which is unfortunate. Kind of makes me think they had the like some random flush draw. Let's see the next hand. I don't play a hand for a while. Let's see this one. King Queen suited. Very slam dunk ISO, but we have to make sure. So there's two scenarios you have to think about when you ISO. Like you have to think about, do you want to ISO call Valentino 62? Like let's say you ISO to this. So I made it this size on purpose because I already made the decision that I don't want to ISO call him. Like ISO and then he jams. I don't want to call him. So that's why I made this size. But there are some games or sometimes different player archetypes I will want to like ISO call. If I want to ISO call him, I would make it like 25 or something. Cause this hand is like pretty good, right? There are some games where like they will limp jam like king 10 off, like king jack off. Since I don't know who he is, I don't want to ISO call off with king queen suited because when they do jam, like even though it's not aces, um, they usually have an ace and it's usually like ace queen and shit. So I already made the decision to not ISO call. That's why I do this size because when I do this size, like nine blinds, I can still fold pretty reasonably. So make sure like you're thinking ahead of the game. Pretty standard, but a lot of people don't do that. Like a lot of people just like YOLO ISO to like 30 $30 and then they're like, oh, and he jams and you're like fucked and you have to call and you weren't thinking about that. So I am thinking about that. So I'm gonna ISO and then fold. So this guy Byerson, he calls, which pretty standard. Like he will not fold anything, and king queen suited, very awesome hand against this type of player. So on the ace queen deuce, I kind of made up my mind that I'm gonna triple for value. It's gonna be pretty good. Like I said, I already talked about this guy. Like he will call extremely wide. Um, so yeah. What did size did I do? I think you can do anything. Maybe just not pot because you do want him to call queen. Like there is a world where you pot it and he like hero folds a queen. That's not good. So this is really nice. The 10 is insane because he has jack 10 that never folds anymore. King 10 never folds. Um he could have 10-9 of clubs. Like the ten is amazing for me. And if he somehow like has a better hand than me, like I have a gut shot now. So I already made up my mind. At this SPR, I think it is very profitable to play for stacks. Um, yeah, that's what I do. I go big, and then if the river is like pretty bricky, like I'm gonna jam for value. And he folds. He probably had like an egregious hand. Um, let's see. Queen 10 off. So, okay, this is interesting. So, Barson guy, he usually play limps, but he ISOs now. We have to make sure this is another like principle of poker. We have to make sure we categorize this whale or recreational player correctly, because there are some whales who play an insane VPIP, but they just call pre-flop. They never raise. So you have to make sure you don't make the mistake, because let's say you're playing live poker. This guy looks like like the guy looks insanely action, like he's playing every hand, but then he isos and he starts raising, and you're thinking like, oh, I need to play a pot in this guy because he's 100 vpip. But sometimes like the whale and recreational only has extremely strong hands when they aggress on you. So you have to make sure you categorize the player well. And this guy, I would say he falls into the type of the whale that I mentioned, that he just likes to call, and when he if he aggresses on you, he has a strong hand. However, their moods change, right? The recreational players, especially whales, they have extremely crazy mood swings that changes their range a lot. So in this game, I saw him ISOing stuff like King Nine suited and stuff. Like so this is not an indication of extreme strength, like an extreme hand strength. Like he might have a nice hand, like maybe like 8-7 suited, like Jack 10 or something, but it's not an indication of the nuts. And I do like playing against these players in position. Obviously, this is like you can fold, like it's not amazing, but when you're in position and you have an extreme skill edge and you have a good overcards, like again, like if I hit a pair, like we're all in. So this is, and these are good pairs to hit, like because he still has like 10-9 suited, like Queen 5 suited. Maybe he thinks Queen 5 suited is an amazing hand. So I call here, and this is great. Like I said, like when we have a pair, like it can't be helped. Like you're all in this type of action game. So he checks, which is very weird, which leads me to think that I have the best hand for sure now, and I do go big. This is not a real thing, obviously. Like I said, I'm saying I'm disregarding all theory. Multi-way, I'm just gonna play extremely face up. Like it does need some protection. Um, there are extremely huge calling stations, which makes betting big multi-way bit better. So that's what I do. Not a real thing, like I said. In a real game, like this is egregious. But I get called, and on this board, let me tell you like another secret hack. The double flush draw board, like the reg never bluffs. In this type of game, like the reg never bluffs. Like look at my hand. Like it looks like I have a lot of bluffs on double flush draw, but I never bluff. So, but since they think you bluff this board, like you can go pretty big here. I go big. He does have a lot of draws. Um, was there any moment that I thought it was too thin here? No, because if he has a better hand than me, this is what's nice about the double flush draw board. Like the recreational, like if he has better hand than you, he always jams. The problem is like if he jams, you might still have to call because yes, like the double flush draw is under bluffed. Um, I think by all players. The thing is, like, I may be rambling here. Like the simple recreational player thinks like the double flush draw has a lot of bluffs. That's why they jam it. But in reality, you must know that like you have to like put this into your brain. The double flush draw board is underbluffed. So they think it's overbluffed, but you know deep down it's underbluffed. So even if he jams here, but unfortunately, even if he jams here, I might have to call because he is like he might jam like a queen as well. That is worse than me. And it's not insane for him to drum like 5, 6 of hearts. Like even though I said it's under bluff, it's under bluff. Doesn't mean like there's no bluffs, right? Um, so once I arrived to river, I knew like I had the best hand because like the recreational player, he will always jam like queen jack, queen king. If he has ace queen, he'll jam. He has a three, he definitely jams. The only hand that he may not jam is like a super trap, like pocket fours, like that. So on the river, I just go for it all because even though I said like he will jam a queen, it's still possible for him to have a queen, and his hands at this point are just like missed draws that will not bluff or a queen or a 10 sometimes. And like I said about like when they arrive, let's say they're like chasing the draw and they arrive with the 10, they never fold this as well. So let's say they had like ace 10 of diamonds and I jam here, never folds, never, like never, never, never. He will never ever fold. Even a reg like will not fold the 10 unless he's a like an elite player. So yeah, I know I have a 10 as well, which makes it less likely. But at least it's not the 10 of hearts or diamonds. So it's nice. Let's see the next hand. Um, Ace 5 suited. Okay, you see how I vary my raise size here? I do go 2x. Like the hands where I want to go extremely big are like king jack, king 10, queen jack. Because when I hit the pair, like I'm very extremely confident of playing for stacks. And you want to play for stacks in a low SPR setting. That's why like when I have a king jack, I make it really big and stuff. But when I have ace 5 suited, when I have the 5, when you hit the 5, you can't really go all in anymore. That's why um, I like to manipulate the SPR by making it smaller here. I go 2x here. Like it's still an amazing hand, right? Ace 5 suited, but I don't want to inflate the SPR with ace 5 suited because I can't. It's hard to have top pair with the 5. It has to be deuce 3 5, like something like that, which is rare. And even on deuce 3 5, I may not want to stack off. I will, but sometimes you might not. So here's an example of where I manipulate uh, the SPR by going a bit smaller. And I want to reiterate again, like this is obviously not GTO. Like fucking varying your raise size is not GTO. Actually, it could be. Actually, it is kind of GTO. If they are like playing like this, then it becomes GTO, right? But you know what I mean. So, um, see another good example, another good reason why to do this. Like I raise 2 blinds, he min clicks me. Like this is an extremely profitable call. Another great reason why you should do this because they just make a random like mistake like this. Um, so that's nice. So everyone calls. Obviously, I'm not gonna like YOLO squeeze because that's just straight up retarded in this type of game. You have a very nice flat. So I also simplify to another thing. Like I never really bluff in multiplayer plots, unless I'm like extremely enlightened during the hand and I just know they will fold their entire range. I'll never bluff. I would keep to the I would keep the rule of like never bluffing multi-way. Obviously, you should never have rules, but you should have a general idea of your strategy. And the general rule here is to not bluff multi-way in these action games. It just doesn't make sense because they never fold any pair and they never fold any gut shot. Like it's just too much risk for not much reward. I would say. So yeah, not bluffing multi-way, good principle to go by, but not the rule. But because there are some spots where they will fold range, and if you're in the zone, like you could possibly find it. So six is amazing. Like I said, I'm still not gonna bluff because they don't fold anything. They don't fold like there's too many hands. There's three players, six cards. They're not gonna fold four, five. Not gonna fold any gut shots, any pair, any spades. Never gonna fold. And there's too many ranges that will not fold. So three is amazing. Uh, nuts are amazing, of course. So this is amazing. Like I didn't want to be fancy with it. Like I just went all in. What's my reasoning here? There's an extreme likelihood that they have an extreme strong hand. Like they have, then sometimes they're not even going to fold a five. But I think it's obvious that even our recreation knows. Like I have an extremely strong hand here when I just kind of like three bet jam over everyone. Never bluff here. Obviously, you would be insane to bluff at this game. It's really stupid. I think there's not much reasoning for this one. Like you have the nuts. There's two players that are showing extreme strength. Obviously, this one, the 1/3 multi-way, is not extreme strength, but this one, the click is pretty strong, and there's a very high likelihood that someone has a flush. And here's another thing: like recreational players never full flushes. Like extremely rare. Like maybe 1% of the time. So when you have the nut flush, like even though the SPR is extremely high, you should just go all in. There are there are a lot of times I know I preach this thing where you never want to go big with value. You always want to go small with value because the big there is getting overfolded. However, there are some spots when if you know they have a nutted hand, aka like a flush, this is the time where going all in is really nice. Uh, this guy Breach 22, he tanks for a long time. Obviously, in his heart, he knows like it's kind of insane to bluff here. No one bluffs here, but he calls the flush anyways, because like I said, no one ever folds the flush. Recreationals don't fold flush. I believe like a lot of regs would fold this, but since he's recreational, like he couldn't get away, which is very nice. Very lucky. Let's see, small pot, but could be interesting to talk about. So yeah, I varied my raise size a little. If it was King Jack, I would like it a bit more. I do make it pretty. This is not even big. This is pretty standard. There's a reason why I lower my raise open sizing when it's four-handed because when it's like a few players, like four-handed, five-handed, um, you don't want to go the extremely big, like 10 blinds or whatever, because you're less likely to get called. Because when it's short-handed, they're more inclined to fold because they get to see the next hand right away, if that makes sense. So um when it's short-handed, I revert back to like a more GTO-ish sizing, which is 2.5 here. It's not in a real game I play 2x by the way. So anyways, I go 2.5 here. A lot of callers, not a lot of callers, but two callers. I like this guy Byerson. Jack 9-5. I don't know why I said J. Jack 9-5. This is amazing when you have middle pair, top, like good, really good kicker. You're getting a lot of streets of value. You possibly could get three, but like definitely two. Um, so I bet here. I chose a size again where I can get called by more things. Because when you have the, it's obvious. Like when you don't have the jack, you can't go that big anymore because you don't want to go big and make them only call jack. That's terrible, right? So you want to go smaller, make them call five and nine, flush draws, straight draws. This guy calls double flush draw again. Like I said, they think there's a lot of bluffs, but in reality, you never bluff. Like no, not even you. like them. They don't bluff too. So, but they don't know that. They think there's a lot of bluffs. So, anyways, slam dunk, like go for a really good value. I kind of went pretty small here. Maybe I'm not a fan of that actually. Maybe I should go a little bigger because there's still a lot to extract from. And like I said, they think you have a lot of bluffs. So maybe this is a mistake. Maybe it's not. He calls. The jack is amazing because now they're gonna like station you even more because they think when you bet like the river, like you only have a jack. But no, you don't. I might even have a five. That goes for value. So this is a really slam dunk value bet, and don't be scared. Like you're barreling. What if he raises, right? Then you fold. Like this is like the best strategy to beat recreational players. Like you bet, and if they just raise you, you fold. They will never like exploit you to a point where they're like over bluffing. They don't over bluff. They rarely bluff. So I bet this size it can be called. If he has a 9, he'll call me like 1,000%. A 5, he'll call me, and if he raises, you just fold. You can just keep doing that until you encounter someone who is very good. That is gonna like over bluff you, which you will never encounter. By the way, I would say is extremely rare for you to encounter that type of player, unless you're playing in like an extremely tough game. So you can just keep betting, whether you're value betting or bluffing or whatever. Um, you just keep betting, and then you fold if they raise. That is a really good principle to go by. Let's take a look at that one. 8-6 suited. I just limp behind. Like I said, you want like big hands. Yeah, I see a lot of regs making mistakes. Like, oh, you're the reg. You got ISO the hands and shit, right? No, you don't. You just flat and you play the hands that you ISO. You want like Jack 10 off is nice. Like this probably maybe like the worst hand I'll ISO because you want top pair. You want a top pair that can stack off. When you have 8-6, like you rarely have top pair. In this game, you want top pair, and luckily I have top pair here. And like I said, when you have top pair, like and they're a bit shallow, they're under 100 bigs. This guy has like 60 bigs. No, not 60, like 30 bigs. I can't do math. Something like that. Um, this is a good candidate to be all in. So he bets pot. I said this before when the recreational choose the big size it's not awesome. Unless you have the nuts. But I think this hand is good enough to stack off. So I make it a size where I do not want to commit against banks. This is just another way to manipulate the pot. Yeah, go this. Because when I go this, I can fold to banks now. But if I made it any bigger, like if I went a little bigger and banks jams, it's like now you're kind of like in a tougher spot. You might have to fold, but it's gonna be egregious. But when I do this and then banks go all in, I can easily fold. Uh, I do this so I can stack off. I'm stacking off on any turn, I believe. Maybe the ace is really bad, but I think on any other card like this is nothing. Yeah, he can have some weird shit like ace 10 with a heart or some 10x of hearts, but I don't care. Like this is a good enough hand where he will call worse, so I'm down to stack off with this hand. Like like for example, he'll call 5, I call 3, he'll call flush draw, he'll call plenty. So and he folds. And if he does fold, like that's amazing as well because you folded out probably some decent amount of equity. And that's the last hand. Hope you guys learned something. I might do another one. I think it was pretty cool. Even if not many people watch it, I don't know, I like to talk about my plays and yeah, maybe one of you will enjoy the video.